Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you, Professor Wolbold, for your kind introduction. My name is Alexandra Fischer. I've been working, as Professor Wolbold already said, I've been working for 10 years in fundraising, focusing on fundraising for Christian organizations, specializing on strategic planning and major giving. As Professor Wolbold said, I completed my master's degree in theater studies at the Faculty of History and Arts from LMU here in Munich, where I researched on theater as a tool for women's rights in development cooperation in Zimbabwe. So as a trainee in fundraising, I completed the certificate program in fundraising management at Lilly Family School of Philanthropy from the Indiana University of Indianapolis. And I'm happy to work for Missio Munich already for more than 5 years, since January this year as the head of the Department of Fundraising and Donor Communication. I just like to share a very quick story about my journey into the field of fundraising. When I was working as an intern at a local NGO in the fields of culture and development in Zimbabwe, where I also researched for my master's thesis, I met many creatives who were looking for funding for different projects. Those projects, they were very well planned with a potential great impact on society. But funding and especially the idea how to raise funds was lacking. And this experience taught me that the best is to make fundraising part of the concept of a project instead of only thinking about fundraising when there's already a lack of money. So today I am here to discuss funding church life, challenges and new ways, chances of fundraising for the Catholic Church, where I will also talk about the chances of fundraising for the Catholic Church, which I believe is incredibly important for the Church, especially in Germany, in this particular moment. So I will not talk about the history of religious fundraising or the theological foundation. Now let me see. Okay, here we go. I will introduce Missio München, Missio Munich, and why we need fundraising. We will look at the challenges, but especially at the chances that fundraising bears or can bear for the Catholic Church. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate just to ask. You can also interrupt me, just stop me whenever you have a question. Missio München. Missio München is part of MAMIC, which is a network of the German Catholic charities. Okay, it is already there. Miseria. One question, is it possible you're sharing the PDF, right? Not my PowerPoint presentation, maybe? But it is, okay. Okay, no problem. The German Catholic charities Miseria, Adveniat, Renovabis, Missio Aachen and Missio München, Caritas International and Kindermissionswerk Die Sternsinger. They complement each other in their mandates and capabilities. They coordinate their country and sectoral policies, co-finance select programs, and strive to avoid double funding. And through their cooperation, overall achieve a bigger impact in what they do. So as a global network, the MAMIC charities ensure support for the Universal Church, as you can see on this map. I would like to take a quick look at the income of MAMIC charities to see the importance also of fundraising. So donations cater. I was marking it from this publication from the Deutsche Bischofskonferenz with color red. So you see the donations. So the donations cater for between 24% in the total income, as you can see on Renovables, and in this presentation, up to 98% for Kindermissionswerk Die Sternsinger. But I also researched, it is also included the collection. So it is not only the donation part. So here there's a small mistake, but it is still very impressive to see. And I guess you know about the VDD, die Verband der Diözesen Deutschland. So this is the legal entity of the German Episcopal Conference that is also funding the MAMIC charities. Let me introduce Missio München. We are the International Catholic Mission Society with the vision of a world where all people can live in dignity. Our commitment is motivated by the power of the gospel within the worldwide Catholic network. And here you see, this is a screenshot of our current homepage with our current aid appeal, where we are asking for donations for emergency relief after the terrible floods in Kenya. Some of you might already know our Missio magazine, which informs with very exciting feature stories about the countries where Missio works. We also left some for you. If you want, you can feel free and take some magazines after the presentation. So Missio München is the International Catholic Mission Society located in Munich. And as one of the German branches of the Pontifical Mission Societies, Missio München has a dual mandate, which is to provide both financial and non-material support for the mission of local churches in Africa, Asia, and Oceania, and also to raise and strengthen the missionary awareness as a community of learning, prayer, and solidarity in Germany. This is our mission. The purpose of Missio is the following, from Matthew 28. Then Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." What we want to achieve is that we, as a Catholic global player, Missio systematically wants to strengthen the local churches, using the network to help people in Africa, Asia, and Oceania, even in places where hope seems to be lost. So what we do, we focus on 7 areas of actions that I will just very quickly introduce to you. Number 1 is strengthening the local church. Missio strengthens the local church structures and the people behind those structures. The local project partners do not only provide support in times of need, but they also create development. Here you see, I guess most of you know Monsignor Huber, our president. I was trying to find pictures where he is also included, as he's traveling around a lot to also represent Missio worldwide. Number 2 is education. So offering a way out of poverty through education and training is a core concern of Missio Munich. Also health. Together with our project partners, we create places where illnesses are recognized and treated, places where physical and mental suffering is alleviated, places where every individual counts. Also, the area of supporting self-reliance, which can start from projects about microcredits, to also securing the existence of parishes. And number 7 at the moment is preserving the environment. Encouraged by Pope Francis Laudato Si, our commitment to an intact environment is also always a commitment to the poor. We also promote peace and justice and humanitarian aid. Just a very few words about our history. The most prominent forerunner for the Pontifical Mission Societies was the Society for the Propagation of the Faith, founded in Lyon in 1822. And Pauline Jaricot was very important for Missio Munich. She was the daughter of a wealthy silk manufacturer, and she underwent a religious conversion at the age of 17 and radically changed her life. She sold all her jewelry and wealth and gave it to the poor. At the request of her seminarian brother, she began collecting donations for the foreign mission. While the missions had previously been financed by government grants and, as we nowadays call, major donors, Pauline now asked for support from her large circle of acquaintances. On the one hand, for a weekly donation, and also for daily prayer. And thousands joined this initiative, which was then in 1822 recognized as the Society for the Propagation of the Faith. The history of Missio Munich itself goes back to the year 1838. At that time, interest in foreign countries and people was growing among the population. The idea of the mission matured. In many European countries, missionary organizations were founded independently of each other with the goal of supporting missionaries financially and in prayer. So King Ludwig I supported the ideas of the mission, and on his initiative, the Ludwig Missionsverein was founded. So there are many more interesting things that happened, but let me just cut it short. So in 1926, the World Mission Sunday was proclaimed by Pope Pius XI, which is up to today. It is our, the October is our month where we are always campaigning for a certain topic, and also church is collecting for Missio Munich. And since 1972, the house is now officially known as Missio Internationales Katholisches Missionswerk Ludwig Missionsverein KDÖR. So to summarize, the Pontifical Mission Societies are a worldwide network at the service of the Pope to support the mission and the young churches with prayer and with charity. So this is bringing me now into our topic. Why do we need fundraising at Missio München? And I want to start with a quotation, a definition of fundraising by renowned priest and theologian Henry Nouwen. Fundraising is first and foremost a ministry. It is a way of announcing our vision and inviting other people into our mission. So he rightly points out in his classic work, which is called A Spirituality of Fundraising, that fundraising is not a response to a crisis, but rather, first of all, a ministry where a vision is shared and people are invited to participate in the mission. So, of course, what does Missio München need money for? We need money for our project, especially for our foreign project. So this is one page from our last annual report from about the year 22. where you see on the one side, you see the source of funds, and on the other side, you see the application of funds. And you see that fundraising accounts for almost 52% of our income. We will later go more into detail. And here, as I was talking about our foreign projects, the core of Missio München, you see the countries where the money was used for different projects. So just some interesting numbers from our annual report. 31,721 donors enabled 759 projects with 12.9 million euro in 53 countries in Africa, Asia, and Oceania. So here I was translating our profit and loss account into English, and I was marking the two parts that are now the focus in my presentation, which goes back to donations. So that is at one point the uncommitted and earmarked donations. Here you see the years from 20 to 23, and also the legacies and charitable gifts, because legacies are also like a very important source of income for Missio Munich, as you can see with the numbers. So what are the challenges for funding church life abroad, but also here in Germany? I had like my presentation was very nice, that everything was coming after each other, but I think this is the PDF file, but it is no problem. So you will see everything I'll be talking about. So here I have the statistics about people leaving the church. We all know it is a very drastic decline of members of the Catholic Church in Germany. We are undergoing structural changes within the dioceses. And for us, especially the topics on global church are becoming less popular in the parishes. Donations, you can say they are kind of stagnating since 2004, while also due to inflation and other reasons, expenses increase. Also, grants by dioceses are not secured because also they are having financial challenges. Donations in general for the church are reducing. Also, when you look at the collections that also the MAMIC charities are receiving, it is also not a stable source of income at the moment. And then also a reason that is also, you can draw the parallel from our donors, because they are representing very well the Roman Catholic Church and the members that we are having here in Germany. So also the age structure of donors is a very special situation, a very challenging situation. There are generational differences, topics that are attracting the main target group of people going to church, but the church is trying to gather or attract also younger generations, which is not easy, as we also see in fundraising, to combine two very different groups. It is even in fundraising, the group 70 and above is very different from the group of 60 and above. Anyway, mentality-wise, how they give, how they donate, also how they feel about the church. So that is also one of the big challenges, those demographic shifts. And this is the donor pyramid, which I will talk a little bit about later. Donor pyramid is talking obviously about the donors that we have. I was not translating the content. As I say, I will talk later a little bit more about it. But what is important in this moment is that the pyramid is not standing on a solid ground because of the need for more prospects, more people who are interested. And in general, the need for more publicity. So how does Missio München address the challenges? First, I'll be talking about the fundraising department, where we also readjusted the structure. I was trying to translate as accurate as possible. But what is important is that we have 4 teams and we are focusing basically on the topics. Like one topic, which is very important, is the data analysis. The other, where also online fundraising is included. The individual giving is very important, like from individuals, like people who can also donate bigger amounts of money. And the institutional fundraising, especially the corporate fundraising, which is one of the big chances also for the Roman Catholic Church. And then we have also a very important team that is focusing on the acquisition of new donors. I would like to show you how we elaborate in our fundraising department our foreign projects. So I was choosing a project from Tanzania, the financial support for the priests of tomorrow, where we are supporting the formation of 65 seminarians in 4 seminaries in the Diocese of Kigoma in Tanzania. This is like the draft, how we are preparing for our donors, with also background information about the country. One of our most important sources of income in fundraising are direct mails, like letters that people receive via post, which, with different appeals for funds. I was picking the most successful envelopes, like the envelopes for the most successful mailings, direct mails from last year. Also, we publish flyer and advertisements, just for you to see 2 examples. And more examples of advertisements. Now also to show you how we work with different target groups, I chose projects that provided help after the horrible earthquake in Syria in February last year, to show you how we are raising funds from different target groups. So this is like those are 3 projects where we were offering help. This is how we prepared it for direct mail, like you see, for a bigger audience, for more than 40,000 recipients. I was also including the response rate and the average donation, and this is like our emergency appeal with the red envelope. This is how we send a reminder, like as the word says, after some weeks, to give people more detailed information, to show them now also more photos, what has been done and why the help is still urgently needed. With this envelope, yes. Then obviously we also cover online fundraising with this newsletter and our website. And we send what we call like a target group mailing, which is for our major donors, where we can, we choose a different approach, because we don't have to focus on emotions and pictures as much as we have to for the bigger group, because those are people, they already know Missio, they trust Missio, and we can also focus more on the solid facts, which you can't do if you want to attract like a wider audience. And maybe to add, you see 915 recipients versus more than 40,000, and it was almost the same income. Yeah. And then for major donors, like for face-to-face fundraising, as you see, you talk to somebody in person. You don't need photos. You just need to talk to people and explain to them why help is needed. So now it is very important to look at the donors, because you can only talk to people if you know who they are. And I will start from one corner. So it is rather women. Major donors are rather men. Who has an idea why it is like that? It is a very easy answer. Yeah, because obviously we are having like also priests who are donating, and they can afford to be major donors. We have in Germany, yes, people aged 60 plus, and maybe to add, where do we have this information from? This was done by an agency for Missio München, like a analysis of the structure. They were scanning the database and actually confirming what we already knew, but it is always important to have the figures and the proof about it. So it is people aged 60 plus, especially 75 plus, brand conscious and sustainable consumers. I will jump some parts. It is interesting, like obviously they are high earners, live in single family houses, rather good residential areas, small communities. Committed people who place their trust in Missio out of Christian faith. And they often donate to several organizations. They are happy if they receive like a thank you letter and the donation receipt. They don't need a lot of information, as they trust, they know Missio München. And also, help for children is the most important project focus, what people are telling us. And the very important part for an organization, because it is always easier for an organization if the donors, they trust you, they know that you use the money in a good way, so that less than 1/3 of all major donors, they want to decide where the money is going to, and the other ones, they are trusting us on our expertise. And also, this is the area, like the dioceses of the Freisinger Bischofskonferenz, where we are also allowed to fundraise. The other area of Germany is for Missio Aachen. So it is very interesting to see, because we are in Munich, but most supporters, they are not in the city, they are more in the rural areas of Bavaria. Now, as I promised to talk more about the donor pyramid, this is where I was calculating how the situation is looking for Missio München. And we were seeing that it is not standing on the most solid ground, but this is obviously the donations. It is not like 0.0, but it is very little percentage from the prospective donors. We have like donors of planned gifts. So this does not mean the legacies they are giving. This is really like the money donors who are planning to give us their legacy, what they contribute during the year. That's why the amount of money is smaller, because this is not their main focus. But what is very interesting is that is like the classical Pareto system, that 75% of donations come from 19% of donors. So there are like many chances. There are chances on the foundation, like with prospective donors, but there's also a chance like to increase the amount because the classic Pareto is 80-20. So we are a little bit less than that. So there's also a lot of chance to improve on face-to-face fundraising. I'll have a look at the, okay. So new ways and opportunities. First of all, what is needed is to introduce or to further focus on fundraising. There is the need for organizational readiness, which means strong governance, advocate in management, accomplished programs, competent staff, trained volunteers, shared values, mission statement and strong case statement, data tracking, analysis abilities, and also an adequate budget, because you also need to invest. You have to bring money to get more money in fundraising. It is not possible to grow without financial investment. So a strong case for support is needed, and a case for support states a mission and documents community need, proposes strategies to alleviate need, identifies who will benefit from the program, demonstrates the competency of the organization, specifies resources required, and states how donations can be made, and communicates benefits of making donations. It has to answer the question, where are you coming from and where are you going to? And maybe you will see why I chose those particular questions. Which difference will it make? What does it take to get there? And also, how can donations be made to help you get there? Because the important part is that people, they give because you meet needs, not because you have needs. So the organization or the institution has to be prepared to meet needs. And that is one of the biggest strengths of the church, because the church is meeting needs. So I was now daring to use the word like Catholic fundraising. So I want to talk about the strengths of Catholic fundraising, because it has several unique characteristics that distinguish it from other types of fundraising. So some key aspects are that obviously Catholic fundraising is deeply rooted in the faith and the teachings of the church, and it often emphasizes the idea that giving is a form of worship and a way to grow faith. Fundraising is deeply rooted also in its mission to serve the community, to uphold the faith, and to support various charitable activities. And this spiritual and communal focus often resonates strongly with donors who are motivated by their faith and desire to contribute to a larger purpose. The Catholic Church is organized around parishes, which are close-knit communities. Fundraising efforts often aim to support not just the broader church, but also local parish needs, fostering a strong sense of community and shared purpose. And the hierarchical structure of the church with parishes and dioceses means that fundraising often or can happen at multiple levels. Like parishes, they might raise funds for local needs, while diocesan campaigns, they might support broader initiatives. This structure allows for a wide range of fundraising activities tailored to different communities and different causes. Also, it supports a wider range of causes, including educational institutions like schools, universities, charitable organizations like Catholic charities, mission work like Missio, building, maintaining churches, and specific ministries like youth ministry, social justice initiatives, also healthcare services. Fundraising activities are often integrated with the liturgical calendar and events. For example, appeals may be made during specific liturgical seasons such as Lent or Advent, or during special feast days which can inspire and remind people to give. Many fundraising efforts are linked to sacramental events such as baptism, confirmation, weddings, and also funerals, which can also help to implement annual campaigns. Many Catholic fundraising efforts focus on social justice and supporting the marginalized people. This aligns with the Church's mission to serve the poor and vulnerable, reflecting the principles of Catholic social teaching. And also, you see, I found many strengths, so I hope you are still with me. It places a strong emphasis on building long-term relationships with donors, which involves regular communication and also transparency about how funds are used, and demonstrating the impact of donations on the community and church's mission. There's a strong focus on legacy giving and also often an educational component to Catholic fundraising, where potential donors are educated about the theological basis for giving, the specific needs of the church, and how their contributions will make a difference. Also, lay volunteers play a significant role. But overall, Catholic fundraising is characterized by its integration of faith, community, and commitment to social justice, making it a unique and impactful approach to raising funds. And these elements help to shape the strategies and effectiveness of Catholic fundraising, aligning it closely with the values and mission of the Church. So, what are new ways and opportunities? Fundraising for the Church is likely to evolve in several key ways to adapt to changing social, economic, and technological landscapes. So some ways, new ways and opportunities are the decline in church tax revenue. Now you see I'm daring to use something that is seen as negative, but I'm using it for like a potential opportunity, because one of the main sources of funding for the Catholic Church in Germany is declining, which leads to financial shortfalls, which have to be compensated by alternative financial sources like fundraising. We are going through change in society and church. It is important, to regularly update the congregation on financial needs, how funds are used, and the impact of their donations by enhancing communication. It is also important to ensure transparency and accountability in all financial dealings, and to report back to the community on how funds are spent. Successful fundraising campaigns can generate funds that directly go into community work, which includes funding community events, pastoral care, maintaining church buildings, and supporting community members in need. But fundraising goes beyond just the raising of funds. It offers the opportunity to build and maintain relationships with donors who identify with the church's goal and values. So this also creates a closer bond with the community and stronger support for church projects. It is essential to gain transparent and responsible use of funds and maintain the trust of donors and the community. Through transparent fundraising methods, the church can make the impact and the work comprehensible, which in turn, in exchange, increases the willingness to donate, because donors are seeking transparency about their contributions and how they are used. It is important to utilize creative and diverse fundraising methods to engage people in a new way, especially with a focus on digitalization. Obviously, that opens up totally new possibilities in fundraising. Online donation platforms, social media campaigns, and in general, digital communication offers a new way to reach and also retain donors. Fundraising offers the possibility of long-term financial planning security by building stable donation structures. The church can initiate and secure sustainable projects in long term. A successful fundraising culture can promote awareness and willingness to give within the community. This contributes to strengthening solidarity and engagement within the church. So to summarize, fundraising in the Catholic Church in Germany is not only a necessary response to financial challenges, but it is also an opportunity to strengthen church work and to build new relationships and to promote a culture of solidarity and giving. We need to teach and promote also the concept of stewardship to foster a culture of generous and regular giving. Fundraising enables the financing of projects that could not be realized without those additional funds. So this can include all kinds of projects, social projects, educational initiatives, international projects, which actually form a very important part of the church's work. Also, fundraising events might increasingly be held virtually or hybrid, like our event we're having today, which is a very big chance to broaden the audience and to make events more accessible. To encourage legacy giving, such as bequests and endowments, can also secure long-term financial stability. And planned giving programs can be promoted throughout workshops and seminars. There's also more chance about capital campaigns. As I said, corporate fundraising, because the church can form partnerships with businesses, philanthropists, and others to open new funding streams and also to enhance credibility and to foster broader community support. And as I said, digital communication, social media will play a crucial role where needs can be highlighted, but also the impact of donations can be shown. And also, very important, you can engage to younger people. So thank you for listening on this long part. I would like to come to a conclusion. I wished not everything would be showing at once, but it is not a problem. My conclusion is the church needs fundraising, because fundraising for the church, particularly for the Catholic Church, involves navigating a range of challenges while seeking innovative fundraising strategies to secure financial support. So Catholic giving is rooted in the gospel tradition and values of the church. As I was trying to explain, the community of believers who evidence who faith, hope, and love in their daily lives. So our Christian values of generosity make it easy to ask for support to secure added income. Fundraising can transform into a movement when it transcends in its immediate goal of collecting money and instead galvanizes the community around a common cause or vision. So here are several key factors that can turn fundraising into a movement. A movement, first of all, is driven by a vision that resonates with people. Fundraising efforts that clearly communicate a mission that people care about can mobilize widespread support. Successful movements involve and engage a broad base of supporters. This can be achieved, as we said, through social media events, volunteer opportunities, creating a sense of community and shared effort among participants. Powerful stories that illustrate the impact of the cause can inspire and motivate people to contribute and to become advocates. These narratives make the cause personable and relatable, fostering a deeper emotional connection. Effective movements often need leaders or influential ambassadors who champion the cause and inspire others to join. These figures can amplify the message and attract more support. And a movement, unlike on and off fundraising campaigns, a movement maintains momentum over time through continuous efforts and consistent messaging. This sustained approach helps to build long-term support and loyalty. And also movements often start at grassroots level, with individuals and small groups taking initiative and spreading the message. This bottom-up approach can create a powerful organic growth that feels authentic and inclusive. The strength of the church already is the fact that it fosters a sense of belonging and identity among its members. People are part of something larger than themselves, which can be incredibly motivating and empowering. And when all these elements come together, fundraising can evolve from merely soliciting donations to gathering people around a cause, inspiring collective action, and driving meaningful change. So I would like to close my presentation with one last quotation that says, "Giving is a tangible expression of our gratitude and devotion to God. This elevates fundraising from a mere financial necessity to a spiritual practice, inviting donors to participate in a form of worship through their generosity." Thank you very much for your attention.